Lord Ali,
Yes.
they were like, well, is it Lord Ali's flat? He's like, yeah, of course it is.
So he's the only donor at this point.
It seems so.
They would all starve without him.
We're all in it together. The people who hurt your family finances swanning around in the House of Lords after giving tax cuts to the richest 1% that crashed our economy. Don't forget any of it.
Have you seen the CCTV footage everyone's talking about? The one showing Keir Starmer in that £18 million penthouse that's got Westminster scrambling to keep it under wraps? Well, Jim Davidson has. And what he's revealed has apparently caused Starmer's wife Victoria to storm off stage in disgust.
It was Channel 4 News last night, and I got to 40 minutes in and I thought, are they going to mention the fact that Keir Starmer is under the cosh here, that, you know, Lord Ali and the revelations coming out of the penthouse?
Of specialist officers, public duty officers, so that we'll have enough officers to deal with this where we need them.
The mainstream media won't touch this story with a bargepole, but we're about to show you exactly what they're trying to hide. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favour. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. What if everything you thought you knew about Keir Starmer was carefully constructed, a political facade maintained by those in power? Enter Jim Davidson, the unlikely protagonist in this unfolding drama. A comedian by trade, Davidson has transformed into something far more significant. A truth-teller willing to challenge the political establishment when mainstream voices fall silent. Davidson's position as an accidental expose is particularly potent precisely because of his background. Unlike career politicians or establishment journalists, his comedic roots give him a unique platform from which to launch his critiques.
It is organised, violent thuggery, and it has no place on our streets or online.
Because it's really quite easily understood. It's just a rich guy, and I actually make no criticism of him. It seems he's played his hand quite well.
His willingness to use sarcasm and blunt language to dissect political issues makes him an unconventional but effective voice in the political arena. Someone unafraid to confront power directly. The establishment's attempts to undermine Davidson only strengthened his resolve. When he first began raising questions about Starmer's relationship with Lord Ali, the political class dismissed him as just another controversial comedian seeking attention. This dismissal backfired spectacularly when Davidson dropped what the sources describe as nuclear-level allegations during a performance at a Westminster club. The political elite couldn't have predicted that a comedian would become their most formidable critic. Davidson's discovery of evidence placing Starmer in Lord Ali's £18 million penthouse contradicted the Prime Minister's carefully crafted public persona. Despite knowing the backlash he would face, Davidson chose to reveal this information, recognising that the public deserved to know what their leader was hiding behind closed doors.
Victoria Starmer has been wearing high-end clothes given to her by a Labour donor. Lord Ali recently gifted her more than £5,000 worth of clothing.
Coordinated, we went through some of the numbers. Over 400 people now have been arrested, 100 have been charged, some in relation to online activity.
The comedian's sharp commentary style proved the perfect vehicle for these revelations. Using his trademark directness, Davidson laid bare the specifics of Starmer's secret meetings and the nature of his relationship with Lord Ali. He portrayed Lord Ali as essentially managing Starmer's image and finances, a characterisation that gained credibility as it aligned with previously verified facts about Starmer's undeclared gifts. What's particularly revealing is the stark contrast between mainstream media coverage and social media response. While Channel 4 News and other traditional outlets remained conspicuously silent on Davidson's claims, social media platforms buzzed with discussion, memes, and theories about the allegations. This disparity highlighted what many saw as the establishment's attempt to protect Starmer, while ordinary citizens demanded answers.
He's also given the PM items worth almost £19,000. Starmer did declare his gifts to Parliament, but not his wife's. The gifts have now been registered after the Prime Minister sought advice.
For the UK National Crime Agency, and advanced data exploitation improvements for the NCA to boost our collaboration with European partners.
The ripple effects of Davidson's comedy club revelation spread throughout Westminster, with reports emerging of Labour MPs privately discussing the possibility of Starmer's removal. The footage allegedly showed Starmer spending hours in Lord Ali's penthouse under circumstances that directly contradicted his public statements, creating a credibility crisis that neither he nor his media allies could contain. As political earthquakes rocked Westminster across London at a glittering charity function, Victoria Starmer was about to become the unwitting star of her own political drama. The event had all the trappings of establishment privilege: elegant finger food, lukewarm champagne, and Britain's elite mingling in self-congratulatory circles.
I don't think no matter what he wears, he ain't going to look good, is he?
MPs are allowed to accept gifts, but they must declare anything which could be regarded as influencing their actions.
We're all in it together. The people who hurt your family finances swanning around in the House of Lords after giving tax cuts to the richest 1% that crashed our economy. Don't forget any of it.
Victoria, draped in designer clothing that would later become part of the controversy, was initially unaware that her carefully constructed world was about to implode. The first tremors began with urgent whispers. Aides huddled in corners, frantically checking phones as Davidson's revelations ricocheted through social media. Victoria noticed the change in atmosphere, the sideways glances, the sudden hush when she approached groups of chatting guests. Her security detail grew visibly tense, exchanging whispered updates as the situation deteriorated. Meanwhile, questions were mounting about Keir Starmer's suspiciously timed visit to Southport. The Prime Minister had appeared at King George VI Sixth Form College, surrounded by unprecedented security, Range Rovers blocking streets, paths cleared of ordinary citizens.
Whatever the apparent motivation, this is not protest, it is pure violence, and we will not tolerate attacks on mosques or our Muslim communities.
Lord Ali,
Yes.
they were like, well, is it Lord Ali's face? He's like, yeah, of course it is.
So he's the only donor at this point.
It seems so.
They would all starve without him.
What made this visit particularly suspicious was its timing. Immediately following the government's premature closure of Ruda Cabana's anti-terror case. When pressed for details, Downing Street remained very, very tight-lipped about the purpose of this heavily guarded excursion. This pattern of secrecy extended beyond Southport. As Davidson's allegations sent shockwaves through political circles, journalists who typically pride themselves on asking tough questions developed convenient amnesia about Starmer's whereabouts and activities. The same media personalities who had ruthlessly interrogated previous administrations now offered softball questions and deflections, their complicity in maintaining Starmer's carefully crafted image becoming increasingly obvious. The financial relationship between the Starmers and Lord Ali told its own damning story. Victoria had received over £5,000 worth of luxury clothing, while Keir accepted nearly £19,000 in high-end items.
Lord Ali must be sat there and his phone rings. He's like, oh, Starmer again. What
He's
does he
just
want
going to give
now?
him the bank details and let him get on with it.
Building to this for 4 years. We're confident we have a plan that can move our country forward, end the cost of living crisis.
Gifts only declared after public scrutiny began to mount. These expensive favours painted a picture not of transparent leadership, but of covert influence and undisclosed benefits. Back at the charity function, Victoria was pulled aside by an aide who showed her a phone screen. Her face transformed. First shock, then disbelief, finally a cold fury that silenced conversations across the room. Without a word to fellow guests, she turned and walked rapidly off stage, abandoning protocol and propriety in a moment of raw emotional response. The Prime Minister's wife had just learned exactly what Davidson had revealed: the extent of her husband's undisclosed activities with Lord Ali that thoroughly contradicted their family's carefully maintained public persona.
This is like is this the only billionaire that supports Labour? I think it's a bit sad that he seems to, this Ali...
Yeah, he's buying them clothes,
he's like,
buying them food.
They've got no one else to go, because they said, oh, was it...
Wanton violence alongside racist rhetoric. So no, I won't shy away from calling it what it is. Far-right thuggery.
So here we stand at the crossroads of political integrity. The man who campaigned on transparency now finds himself desperately trying to hide from public scrutiny. The irony is almost poetic. Starmer promised to clean up politics while allegedly engaging in the very backroom dealings he once condemned. What's truly revealing isn't just one politician's fall from grace, but how information flows in our society. While mainstream outlets remain conspicuously silent, social media has become the people's press, exposing what traditional channels won't touch. This isn't merely about Starmer, it's about who controls the narrative of our democracy and whether we'll continue to accept a sanitized version of reality from those who govern us.